Thank all of you. It is great to be with you and to receive this award. I'm honored indeed. I am a journalist, so it's a little unusual for me to be here, I guess, although being a conservative journalist, which is a kind of oxymoron, like jumbo shrimp or rap music. One of my current favorites is Senate Ethics Committee. Anyway, it's what I am, have been for a long time, and it's good to see I see some folks here I've known for a number of years, but also some younger people, and I'm very encouraged by that, and to see this nice turnout. And particularly for young folks, I have always said that anybody who has his head screwed on right should be conservative when he is young, and then as he grows older, gradually become more conservative. And that has certainly been my experience, and I hope it will be yours. A lot of talk about media bias, and properly so, and that's mainly what accuracy in media has tried to deal with ever since Reed started in 1969. Am I right about that, Don? And but you've got to factor into this equation incompetence. Do not forget the incompetence. That's huge, and it sort of interacts with the bias. Exponential effects there. And a couple of examples. I see some members of our board at the NJC, National Journalism Center, some many graduates here, Pete LaBarbera and Cliff Kincaid and some others. And one of the members of our board is a good friend of a lot of people in this room, is Pat Corton, who used to be the morning anchor on WTOP radio. A very fine professional broadcaster, and he told me a story. I was afraid to check it because it was so good. I was afraid it would turn out to be false. But I did check it, and he swears it's true. And this was back in 1994, and Pat was traveling around somewhere in the Midwest, Peoria, Illinois, or something, and I was watching. That was the 50th anniversary of D-Day, the landing at Normandy. Some of us here were children when that happened. I remember it from, I was just a kid, but I remember it. And this is the 50th anniversary. Reagan went over there, and others had gone over there earlier, or later. He'd gone early, and they went later in '94. It was the 50th anniversary of this. And so there was a young lady, it so happened, who was reading a news account of this off the teleprompter in this town, wherever Pat was visiting, and referred to World War XI. And so, which suggested to me that maybe we're not teaching history very well in our schools, and obviously are not teaching Latin, although you would think that after all these Super Bowls, we would know something about Roman numerals. But apparently not. Now that's the story. I have another anecdote. I witnessed this myself, although maybe it was an hallucination. I imagined that I saw this. And after the years go by, I'm not real sure about some of these things. But anyway, this was on, again, back in the 90s, and I was watching one of the channels. I won't name which one it was. A financial news channel, as it's supposed to be, and there was a talk show there, and I was trying to find out what had happened to my stocks, which were bad even then, much less now, and there was a very nice-looking young couple of co-anchors, man and woman, conducting this show, and it was an interview show. And I don't know why these guests were on at Financial Channel, but they were, and they came on, and they were interviewed by the co-anchors. They were two cross-dressers. Now, I thought cross-dressing was the same as transvestism. The words mean the same thing, but it's different. You might want to write that down. Not the same thing at all. And so I learned that from the show, that the transvestism, I think, is trying to actually look like a woman. Whereas a cross-dresser is just a guy wearing a dress. And a number of Washingtonians here, and these guys were wearing dresses in the interview. And for the Washingtonians here, you undoubtedly are familiar with the group called the Hogettes. These are big, fat men who are Redskins fans and who put on a dress and go out to the ballpark and root for the Redskins. And of course, somebody needs to look into that, by the way. I mean, what is that all about? And a cry for help? I don't know. But whatever that is, these cross-dressers were kind of like that. You would not mistake them for women. There was also, like, for some of you who may remember, the Bud Light commercials where the guys dress up like women to go and get a free beer on ladies' night, except they like have mustaches and stuff. These guys were kind of like that. So you would not mistake them for women. Here they are being interviewed on this show, and I'm watching this, and they're talking about why they do this. And, well, it made them feel better about themselves and more comfortable in women's clothes, and they had purses and they had wigs, and it really sounded kind of good, you know. And so, very positive thing to do. And so one of these co-anchors, respectfully interviewing these two people, decided to ask an incisive journalistic type question. And that was there any downside to this very positive cross-dressing experience? And so one of these guys says, yeah, there is. He said, sometimes when you're in a bar, weirdos will come on to you. What? I mean, who would this guy consider to be a weirdo? But and I thought, why is this on my television set? Why is this being shown to me? And then I realized I was complicit. I was an enabler because I was watching it. And so you got to factor that into the mix also, Don. It's just not the bias, not just the incompetence, the weirdness, whatever, I don't know. But so these are things that suggest that maybe our media are not living up to the highest standards of journalistic excellence. And that's why we need accuracy in media and the great work that Reed Irvine did, and that has been done subsequently by Don and Wes Vernon and the accuracy in academia folks also, Mal Klein and many others, and Debbie Lambert. Actually, a lot of folks here that have been working on these problems for many years, and it is urgently needed.